Hey guys, it's Lisa Mackey and welcome to the channel that helps you succeed through you. Yes, you, your own uniqueness. Now this video is the third of a series of 3 videos that talks about dealing with the COVID-19 crisis physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So if you haven't watched these videos, I suggest you watch them so you can better appreciate this video. For this video, I'm going to talk about the spiritual component. Now, this is not about religion, but it's about strengthening your spirit. So, when we talk about the spirit, it's not the same as the soul. And I want to make a distinction with the soul and the spirit. Now, the soul is where the mind and the heart reside. The spirit is higher than that. And this human existence that we have actually has 3 levels. The first level is the physical realm, and this is what we see in the physical, what we hear in the physical, what we smell and taste in the physical. And they affect the second level, which is the soulish realm. So again, this is where the mind and the heart reside. And so this second level influences our decisions that affect not only us, but the people around us. Now, the highest level is the spiritual realm. And if this realm is activated and utilized, then it can influence the first 2 realms. Now, most people operate only on the first 2 levels. And few people operate on the highest level. And so if you want to be greater than others, if you want to be able to remain strong and standing up during this crisis and even be far ahead than everybody else when the crisis is over, then you need to learn to operate on this highest level, which is the spiritual realm. Now, most of the things that we've learned in this world are the opposite of the principles of the spiritual realm. And I want to share with you some of these principles to give you a greater awareness of what this realm is even about. And I'm also going to give you a clearer understanding not only of what it is, but of the steps that you can take to be able to stay and remain in that realm, specifically during this time of crisis. Now, the first realm that I want to share with you today is the spending quiet time. Now, our minds are naturally not drawn to spending quiet time. Our minds are not programmed that way. Our minds are programmed to be creative. We are thinking individuals. And this is the reason why it's so difficult for people to sit back. It's difficult for people to just spend some quiet time and be still. And this is why we see a lot of reactivity around us and why there's a lot of people who are very, very restless. Because it needs a training of the mind, which is more than just the first 2 levels, physical and the soulish. It requires the spiritual component to even train our minds to be quiet. And as I've said, people who have reached this level are actually the successful and great people who can remain strong in the midst of any crisis. Now, there are different ways that people spend quiet time. You know, people go through different steps and process and methods of quieting their minds down. And some do yoga, others do meditation. And I'll be honest with you, I have tried different methods of quieting my mind, but nothing has really worked for me except the one that I'm going to share with you. Years ago, I actually tried transcendental meditation, but it didn't work for me because I cannot really focus if I am just repeating the same word over and over again. You know, it bores me and then it just makes my mind wander. And as I've said, this is from my own personal experience and what I am very effective in sharing with others because it's personal. Now, what has worked for me in quieting my mind and in having quiet time is having a personal relationship with God. Again, let me be clear that this is not about religion. Now, I want to read something to you from my book, Simplify to Intensify. This will further clarify what I'm trying to say, that this is not about religion. The problem I see is that people have boxed God in some religious ritual or belief. In God, there is freedom, not restriction. When we think of God as a religious figure, everything becomes a burden. I was born and raised Catholic and went to Catholic schools from elementary to college. Everything I knew about God was based on religion. I went to Mass almost every Sunday, received communion, confessed my sins, prayed the prayers I've learned, and participated in church traditions. The day I cried out to Him to help me surrender was the day the religiosity of God fell from me. I was freed from the concept of a God who I need to pray to by reciting memorized prayers or going through a monotonous ritual. I didn't shift from Catholicism to another religious belief. I shifted from a religion I was born into to a relationship with God I was led to. A relationship that comes from a deeper understanding of who He is and who I am. My freedom in God outside of any religion has created a beautiful relationship between Him and me, a relationship nurtured in this quiet time. This is where all my ideas come from, where visions are birthed, where I find solutions to problems, where I get wisdom, where I find strength. The list goes on. I have reached a point in my journey where every aspect of my life has integrated together. Now, if you haven't built this personal relationship with God, now is the best time to do it. I don't care where you are or who you are or what you have done. He can meet you where you are. I remember crying out to Him in 2001. I didn't even know where to begin and how to do it. But what I remember saying is, Lord, I want to surrender to You, but I don't know how. Teach me how to surrender. And seriously, He heard my prayers. And that was the beginning of a personal relationship with Him. Now, the second principle I want to share with you is surrender. We think of surrender as something weak or something that signifies defeat. The opposite is actually true. It takes more strength to surrender than to fight. Surrender actually is not a sign of defeat. It is actually surrendering to the process, knowing that the process is going to be good for us. The process of surrender, again, this is from my book, Simplify to Intensify. The process of surrender starts from a breaking point, but does not end in that breaking point. Our human nature will continue to choose not to surrender because it is attached to its earthly nature. In spite of this, man continues to rebel against his Creator to the point of convincing himself that there is no God. He will choose to believe in God's creation, but not God, because the human nature is against God. When all else fails, man gropes for something greater than himself. This is when the surrender happens. Yet, when things start to go well, the human nature will go back again to where it's more familiar with, until another more challenging trial comes his way. Only when he finally realizes that he can't rely on himself or other people will he even consider staying in that place of surrender. Only then will the process of transformation from an earthly, natural mindset to a kingdom mindset begins. Now think about that and let it sink in. Let that sink in. We are actually facing the most vulnerable times in our lives. And this is the best time to surrender. Now, the third principle that I'm going to share with you is embrace the struggle. A great leader once said that once all struggle is grasped, miracles are possible. One of the definitions of struggle is to experience difficulty and make a very great effort in order to do something. Another closer definition is to make forceful or violent efforts to get free of restraint or restriction. Both definitions talk about an effort to do something or resist something. In short, the struggle is only present because of an effort of resistance. Without the resistance, there is no struggle. Again, that was from my book, Simplify to Intensify. Now, embracing the struggle is the same as surrendering to the process. You know that it's going to be good for you. You know that it is going to be a training ground. Now, let me ask you something. What goals have you set at the beginning of this year for the year 2020? What have you been desiring to have or accomplish that you have been exercising hope for or you've been working hard for? Now look at the crisis that we are facing right now. How do you think can this crisis help you in preparing and training you not only for the achievement of those goals, not only for having those dreams, but in fulfilling the work that needs to be done once you are already there? Think about that. What can you learn from this crisis to help you not only achieve those goals, but to fulfill what is needed once you are already there in that place that you are dreaming to have or to be in? Now, this is what embracing the struggle is about. It is knowing that the struggle is there to bring out the best in you, surrendering to the process and letting it train you. Now, I hope and pray that this video has helped you see this crisis in a better light. And I hope that it has strengthened you. You know, nobody knows how long this crisis is going to be here. But one thing I know is that this crisis can make or break you. What do you choose? Now, if this video has helped you in any way, please click like and please share it with your family and friends. And if you have anything to say, you want to express something, you want to ask a question, you want to suggest something, feel free to leave a comment. And please subscribe to my channel and click the bell so you'll be notified of every video I post. Now remember, you were created for a unique purpose that only you can fulfill. Thank you so much and see you again.